My brother-in-law, Liam Sumassi, the guy married to my sister Ashley, just told my wife Helen that he's in love with her. Yeah, that sentence alone should tell you this isn't going to end well. And honestly, that was just the tip of the iceberg. Yesterday, completely out of nowhere, Liam hit up Helen and asked her to meet him for lunch. Said he had something important to talk about. When she told me, she looked confused, but not alarmed. "Do you think it's about Ashley?" she asked, her brow all scrunched up. "Maybe they're having issues and he just wants a female take on it." I'll be real, I thought it was weird as hell. Liam had never singled out Helen like that before. Sure, he texted her from time to time, like he did with the rest of us, but it was always boring family stuff, nothing to raise a red flag. We're a pretty tight crew, always there for each other. So I brushed it off and told her, "Go, maybe he needs someone to talk to."
So the next day, Helen heads out to this cafe near her office. That morning, she's putting on her coat and mutters, "I still don't know what this is about." And there's this tiny edge of tension in her voice. I tried to calm her down. Probably something dumb, just hear him out, and if it's serious, we'll deal with it. The place she picked is a crowded lunch spot, so she feels safer with all the people around. She gets there early, grabs a seat by the window so she can watch the door. A few minutes later, Liam shows up, and she says he looked like a damn wreck, way more jittery than she's ever seen him. They did the usual small talk for a few minutes, work, kids, blah, blah, blah. But then the food came, and that's when everything flipped. He takes a breath like he's about to propose or something, and then, boom, he hits her with it. Starts out with, "You look amazing today." At first, she's like, okay, maybe he's just being friendly. But he doesn't stop. He keeps going. Tells her she's been this shining light in his life. Says being around her makes him feel alive in ways he's never felt before. "It was love at first sight," Liam said, his voice shaking like he was about to break. "I've loved you since the moment I saw you." Then he hit her with, "If you were mine, I'd treat you like a damn queen. You'd have everything you've ever deserved."
Helen was floored, just completely frozen, staring at him like he'd grown a second head. This wasn't some random guy at a bar. This was Liam, my sister's husband, the father of their 2 kids, laying out some twisted love confession like he was in a Nicholas Sparks movie. And he wasn't subtle. He went all in, painted this fantasy world where he and Helen were together, happy and far away from all this reality crap. He told her he'd been in love with her for years, that every time he saw her, he felt like fate was pulling them together. He said he'd been watching her, admiring her from the sidelines, convinced she was the one. Helen tried to cut him off, tried to tell him he was insane, that this was a massive mistake, but he just bulldozed right over her. Like he'd been practicing this speech for years, like every word was locked and loaded. Now, here's the kicker. Liam always had a good relationship with Helen. Nothing weird, nothing ever crossed the line. Our families hang out all the time. We're close. And Liam was just the goofy uncle, the guy flipping burgers at the 4th of July cookout, the one playing tag with the kids. Sure, he texted Helen sometimes, but it was always about normal stuff. Schedules, family dinners, reminders about whose turn it was to bring dessert. He even texted my mom now and then. We all thought it was harmless. We all trusted him. So hearing this from Helen, it felt like a sucker punch straight to the chest.
She didn't even let him finish. She stood up so fast her chair screeched across the floor, turned, and walked straight out of that cafe like it was on fire. Helen was shaking when she called me, voice cracking, barely holding it together, as she unloaded the whole story, every word, every sick detail. And while she's still on the phone, the first text from Liam comes through. Then another, and another. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. I think I just got carried away. It's probably just a dumb crush." Yeah, okay. Helen left work early, too rattled to pretend like her day was normal. Her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Texts, missed calls, voicemails. I told her, "Answer it. Put him on speaker. I want to hear this clown for myself." So she did. Liam's on the other end, sobbing, like actual crying. He's begging her not to say anything to Ashley. "Please," he says. "It was a mistake. I thought you felt the same. I misread everything." Apparently, he thinks something happened last weekend when we were all at our place. Said Helen was flirting with him in the kitchen. Some moment they shared while grabbing drinks from the fridge. Look, Helen can be sharp, sarcastic, a total ballbuster. It's what I love about her. But I guess some fragile dude like Liam could twist that into something else.
Then he asks if she told me, and I answer for her, right into the speaker. Yeah, she told me everything. That's when he switches targets. Now he's begging me, pleading with both of us not to say a word. Swears on his kids' lives that he never cheated before, never crossed that line with anyone else. Said it was only Helen, just her. I didn't care. I'd heard enough. I told him straight up, "I'm not dealing with this tonight. I'll call you tomorrow." Now Helen and I are stuck in this wreckage, wondering what the hell we're supposed to do next. She wants to go straight to Ashley right now and drop the truth in her lap. But the thought of shattering my sister's life, breaking apart her family, just guts me. I picture my nieces, too young to understand, caught in the crossfire, and I feel sick. The right thing to do? Of course it's to tell Ashley. But I keep thinking about Helen too. She didn't do anything wrong. And yet once this gets out, the whole family dynamic's gonna shift. Even if Ashley stays with Liam, and honestly, I don't know how she could, things will never be the same. The damage is done. And Liam, I don't care about him. He nuked his own life. But the rest of us, we're the ones left to crawl through the ashes. Everyone who told me not to wait, you were right. Just after midnight, Ashley called me. Her voice was tight, like she had been crying but wasn't going to admit it. She said, "I have to tell you something." My stomach dropped.
Turns out, Liam had already gone to her, in full performance mode, blubbering like a victim. And what story did he spin? That Helen came on to him. That my wife tried to start an affair. He actually made her the villain. Unbelievable. Liam tried to flip the whole thing. Dumped the blame square on Helen like she was the one chasing him. I honestly couldn't believe what I was hearing. The second Ashley told me what he said, I cut her off. "No, that's not what happened," I told her. "I'm coming over. We're not doing this over the phone." I hung up and immediately called my parents. It was late, but I didn't care. My voice was clipped, fast, running on pure adrenaline as I explained everything. My dad blew up, furious, pacing from the sound of it. My mom sounded shocked but steady. They said they'd head over to Ashley's place and take care of the girls. They knew Ashley would need them now more than ever. Next call, James, my younger brother. He picked up groggy, but once I laid it out, he went full alert. Said he'd come stay at our house with the kids so Helen and I could leave without worrying. James is calm in a storm. Exactly what the kids needed right now. Meanwhile, Helen was already throwing on her jacket, grabbing her bag. She looked pale, like someone heading into court, not a family conversation. But she knew this had to happen. No more running. The drive to Ashley's felt endless. The silence in the car was unbearable. Both of us locked in our heads, bracing for whatever the night had in store. When we pulled up, it was worse than I imagined.
Ashley was standing on the front porch, arms crossed. Liam was next to her, slouched, hollowed out, looking like he'd already lost. His eyes were down, shoulders caved in, like he was waiting for the axe to fall. And we had the axe. Texts, voicemails, the full truth. I still don't know what his endgame was. Maybe he thought if he got to Ashley first and spun some sob story, he could manipulate her into believing him. Try to get out ahead, twist the narrative. But he was too late. As Helen and I walked up, the tension was thick enough to choke on. Helen's hands were shaking. Her face was stone. Anger and pain held together by the thinnest thread. Without a word, she handed her phone to Ashley. Ashley took it, calm but deadly. Her fingers steady, but her eyes burning. She scrolled through the text first. Every line tightened her jaw. Then she hit play on the voicemails. Liam's voice, pathetic and lovesick, declaring everything, and Helen shutting him down cold. Before Ashley could even react, Liam broke down. A full-blown collapse. This man, this firefighter who literally runs into burning buildings, was now crumbling in front of us, sobbing like a kid who broke something he can't fix. It was surreal, jarring, disgusting. Liam's sobs were something else. Loud, guttural, soaked in guilt and fear. It was almost unreal to watch. This guy, this macho firefighter who runs into danger without flinching, was now reduced to a pile of regret on Ashley's front porch. But Ashley? She didn't flinch. Her face didn't even twitch. She just stood there, still and cold, like steel forged in fire. She let him cry it out, not offering a single word, just silence, heavy, final, and way more brutal than anything she could have said.
When Liam finally ran out of breath, still hiccuping like a kid caught sneaking out, Ashley spoke. "Pack a bag and go." Her voice was ice, sharp and unforgiving. "I can't even look at you," she added, her eyes locked forward like he wasn't even human anymore. Liam tried to defend himself, voice trembling, mumbling excuses, but Ashley wasn't having it. "Stop," she snapped, slicing through his rambling. "There's nothing you can say to fix this." Then she turned her back on him, walked right over to Helen, and without hesitation, pulled her into a hug. It hit me right then. These two had been through everything together since college. And despite the nightmare we were standing in, their friendship still held. That hug was more than just comfort. It was solidarity. It was Ashley saying, "I know the truth. I'm not blaming you." And me, I was left standing with Liam. The man looked wrecked. His face was red and puffed up, his eyes glassy, shoulders hanging like dead weight. He looked at me, desperate for something. Forgiveness, maybe? Mercy? He opened his mouth, his voice a brittle whisper, but I cut him off. "You need to leave," I said. "You made this mess. Now live with it." He didn't fight, just nodded like a man who finally realized the gravity of what he'd done, then turned and trudged inside to pack his things. Ashley stayed with Helen, the two of them talking in low voices, holding each other up while the rest of us tried to figure out next steps, how to shield the kids, how to move forward. At one point, Ashley started asking Helen the question we all dreaded. Why did he think this would ever work? What made him believe you wanted this too?
And that cut deep. Ashley kept pushing, trying to understand what the hell made Liam believe this wasn't all in his head. She swore up and down that their marriage had been solid. No signs of distance, no drama, no weird energy, nothing to explain this mess. Helen was crying by then, really crying, her face soaked, chest heaving, like she couldn't breathe. "You've seen everything," she choked out, her voice barely hanging together. She passed Ashley her phone again. They sat down and pulled up every message from the last 2 years, every text, every emoji, every LOL. It was exhausting, but they combed through every single thread. Helen and Liam, no filters. Nothing. No late-night hard eyes, no sketchy comments, no signs she ever hinted at wanting more. Helen was just being herself. And that's the thing. Helen is playful. She teases people. She jokes around and makes everyone feel like they've known her forever. It's just who she is. That same energy is what made me fall in love with her. She does it with my mom. She does it with James. Even Liam used to joke right back at her. That banter was just normal, innocent. But then Helen suddenly remembered something last weekend. We had everyone over. Liam and Helen both went for the fridge at the same time. They bumped into each other, kind of play fighting over who'd get there first. Laughing, being dumb. He stepped back, let her grab it. But then he reached around her waist for a beer, and his hand moved slow. Too slow.
Helen told Ashley it didn't feel right. In that exact second, something in her gut turned, but she dismissed it. Didn't want to accuse him of something if it was nothing. So she let it slide. Now, she's wondering if that silence gave Liam just enough false hope to spiral into this fantasy. Ashley sat there, listening closely. Her face finally softened. She didn't lash out, didn't accuse. She knows Helen. She knows that being bubbly and kind isn't code for come get me. It's not your fault, she said, steady and quiet. Helen just cried harder, finally letting herself believe it might actually be true. Ashley gently reassured Helen, and Helen nodded, though her eyes still brimmed with guilt. The sting of it all wasn't fading. This whole thing had twisted her world sideways. But as they reached the end of the message history, it was clear. There was never anything mutual. No subtle flirtation, no secret signals, just Helen being Helen. And Liam? He warped all that into something else entirely. That realization that one man's delusion had detonated this much pain was brutal. But for now at least, Ashley still trusted Helen, and that mattered. Then Ashley stood up, with this tight, focused energy, like something in her had snapped into place. She said she needed to know what else was out there, what else Liam might be hiding. She grabbed his MacBook, hands shaking, breath short. She guessed his password. Third try, she was in.
And then she started digging. Fast, angry, terrified. Clicking, searching, scrolling. Looking for the ugly truth that might be hiding beneath all the files and folders. It didn't take long. Buried deep in a bland-looking folder was a horrifying stash. Photo after photo of Helen, going back years. All solo shots, no family moments, no group pictures. Just her. Always just her. Ashley clicked through them, and with each one, her face shifted, from anger to something colder, something sickened. Then she landed on a batch that stopped her cold. It was from a few years back, some vacation we took to the Caribbean. Adults only, no kids. Helen, feeling relaxed for once, had worn a bikini, something rare for her. Normally she sticks to more modest outfits, but that trip felt safe. There were at least 50 shots of her, in that bikini, all taken without her knowing. Ashley's face went pale. These weren't casual vacation pics. This was stalking. Hidden. Intentional. It was clear Liam had been photographing Helen in secret for years, obsessively building a collection. The air in the room turned ice cold. Ashley whispered, "Is this restraining order territory?" Her voice was barely audible, but the fear behind it was sharp.
Whatever line we thought we were walking before, this blew past it. This wasn't just inappropriate anymore. It was disturbing. It was deranged. Ashley called us over and turned the screen to show us. Helen gasped, stumbled backward, her hand flying to her mouth. She looked like she might be sick. She had no clue Liam had been doing this. No warning signs, no suspicion, nothing. This man had been building an obsession right under our noses, and none of us saw it. Ashley stood still for a moment, processing it all. Her rage was still there, but now it was layered with something worse: betrayal. She started talking fast, her voice clipped and sharp. Legal options, protective measures, a restraining order. Every possibility was now on the table. We were all spiraling from what we'd just seen. This wasn't about some dumb crush anymore. This wasn't just Liam crossing a line. This was obsession. It was predatory. It was sick. The man we trusted, who we thought was a loving husband, a dad, a brother-in-law, had shown us something much darker. But the nightmare wasn't over. Ashley, trying to get everything out in the open, agreed to hear Liam out. She wanted the truth, all of it, and she didn't want any way for him to twist the story, so she asked Helen to join the conversation directly. They set up a FaceTime call.
Helen sat on the couch, pale and anxious. I stayed off camera, listening just out of frame, heart pounding like a war drum. Ashley, being Ashley, hit record the second the call started. No room for denial. And when Liam popped up on screen, he looked like hell. Eyes bloodshot, face puffy from crying. He could barely speak. But once he did, once the dam broke, he started confessing. And what came out of his mouth chilled me. "I've been obsessed with Helen for years," he said. His voice was hoarse, barely a whisper. He said it started the day we met, one of those early family hangouts, back when Ashley was still introducing him as her new boyfriend. Helen and I were already together then, but apparently Liam had seen her first, and something clicked in his brain. At first, he told himself it was nothing, just a harmless crush, physical attraction he could ignore. But the more time he spent around her, the worse it got. Liam kept going, digging deeper into the madness. He said it wasn't just looks. At some point, it turned into something else. He got obsessed with Helen's laugh, the way she made people feel seen, the way she could light up a room without even trying. He talked about how he'd catch himself just watching her. How even when she was just being herself, goofy, kind, totally unaware, he felt drawn to her like she was magnetic. He said he'd tried to kill those feelings, told himself it was harmless, but it didn't go away. It got worse. He started showing up more, offering to help at family events he didn't give a crap about, sending random texts just to stay on her radar. Dumb stuff like, "What time's dinner?" Or, "Did you see that show?" He wormed his way closer, inch by inch, until he fully convinced himself that she felt it too. Ashley just sat there, face carved in stone. No reactions, no interruptions, just letting him destroy himself with every word. Helen, though? Helen was breaking. You could see it in her eyes. The shock, the horror, realizing this had been building behind her back for years. The weight of it nearly crushed her right there on that couch.
Then, silence. The kind of silence that screams. Ashley finally spoke, her voice calm but razor sharp. "What made you think my wife would leave me for you?" Liam froze, stammered, tried to explain some crap about mutual attraction, about how he thought Helen had given him signals, about moments he thought meant something. And that was the last straw. Helen and Ashley both exploded. Years of friendship, years of boundaries, obliterated by his twisted fantasy. They both lost it. Yelling, swearing. The betrayal, the disgust, the humiliation, all of it poured out in one volcanic eruption. Helen couldn't take any more. She hung up, hand shaking so hard she almost dropped the phone. Her face was ghost white, lips trembling. She turned to me first. It was never mutual, she said over and over. I never wanted him, not for a second. And I believed her. I always had. Even if she had once thought he was attractive, which I honestly wouldn't blame her for, she would never cross that line. Helen is solid when it comes to loyalty. Day one, she made it clear. Cheat on her, lie to her, and you're done. No second chances. So I knew. This whole nightmare, it wasn't about her. It was Liam's delusion. A sick, dangerous fantasy that nearly blew up everything we cared about. That call was the breaking point. All the tension that had been simmering finally exploded. Helen's voice cracked from rage and heartbreak. Ashley's came through like steel wrapped in fire. It was chaos. And yet, somehow, it was only the beginning.
The call ended with a thud, abrupt, raw, like a door slamming in a burning house. The air was thick, suffocating with betrayal, disbelief, and straight-up emotional whiplash. Helen hung up, her hands trembling so hard she could barely hold the phone. Then she turned to me. Her eyes were wide, panicked, searching my face for something, anything. It was one-sided, she whispered, her voice cracking under the weight of it all. I swear, Will, it was just him. I never thought it wasn't, I said quietly, trying to calm her, trying to ground both of us. And I meant it. Look, maybe once, maybe, she found Liam physically attractive in some distant, subconscious way. But Helen? She'd never act on it. That's not who she is. I've known that since the beginning. There was this moment early in our relationship that stuck with me like gospel. One morning I was watching her get dressed, just admiring her in that quiet, awestruck kind of way. She caught me staring, smirked, and said, "You like what you see?" But then her face shifted. Her voice dropped, low and serious. "You never mess this up, or you'll never see it again." She meant it. Helen doesn't play games with trust. Once you break it, there's no piecing it back together. Not with her. So as I sat there, still hearing the chaos of that call echoing in my head, I started thinking about Liam.
God, Liam. I always knew the guy had a cocky streak. That little swagger, the smug grin, like he thought he had the world figured out. But I never realized how deep his delusions ran. He really believed he could blow up 2 marriages and still come out the hero in some twisted love story. The ego, the absolute audacity. Later that night, once things had calmed down just enough to talk without yelling or crying, I called Ashley. Her voice was tired, but focused, like something inside her had locked into place. She told me she'd be speaking with a lawyer first thing Monday morning. She didn't want to wait another second. Her only concern now was protecting her kids. Not her marriage, not Liam, just her kids. She wanted to make sure they were shielded from as much of this wreckage as humanly possible. And honestly, I don't blame her. As far as I'm concerned, he's completely disconnected from reality, Ashley said, her tone like sharpened steel. There wasn't a hint of sadness left, just sheer focus. She wasn't interested in patching things up or pretending their marriage could be salvaged. Her only mission now was protecting her kids and giving them some kind of stability after all this chaos. Liam came back to the house yesterday, not because Ashley let him, but because legally she couldn't stop him. Not yet anyway. He still had a right to be there until the legal process kicks in. But don't get it twisted. They're done. The second he stepped inside, the whole energy in that house shifted. You could feel the tension hanging in the air. No yelling, no scenes, just pure, loaded silence. Every glance, every step packed with resentment. And Liam? He knows it's over. You can see it in his face.
There's this emptiness in his eyes now, like whatever twisted fantasy he built up has finally collapsed, and he's left standing in the rubble, realizing it's all gone.
The lawyer told Ashley that with everything she's got, his texts, voicemails, and that disgusting stash of secret photos, she's got a solid shot at full custody. It's a pretty airtight case. Obsession, instability, emotional damage, the proof is everywhere. And the wild part? Liam doesn't even seem like he wants to fight it. He looks like a man who knows he's already lost and doesn't have the energy left to swing. Ashley, though, she's locked in. Whatever feelings she used to have for him, they're long gone. She walks through that house now with purpose, not pain. She's focused on her kids, on their safety, on moving forward. No more illusions, no more hoping he'll change. Just forward. Just them. Ashley doesn't look heartbroken, not even close. If anything, she looks like someone who's finally ripped off the blindfold, like the truth, as awful as it is, has given her clarity. She's not stuck in grief, she's already stepping into whatever comes next. The kids still don't know the full story, but they know something's off. Kids always do. They feel tension in the walls before anyone says a word. They're still smiling, still playing, but you can see it in their eyes. They're waiting for the shoe to drop. Liam was never really there anyway, not when it mattered. He spent more time at the fire station than at home, picking up overtime like it was a competition. His absence was just part of their routine. Always gone, always tired, always somewhere else. It was a quiet gap in their lives they just got used to. But now, that gap's about to become a canyon.
Once the truth comes out, everything changes. Their home won't be the same. Even a broken version of two parents with still some kind of structure. That's gone now. Ashley's ready for it. She's already talked to a child psychologist, setting things in motion to make this transition as smooth as possible. She's preparing to be both mom and dad, protector and provider, everything those kids need to feel safe. And Liam? He's holed up in the guest room, this ghost of a man, lingering in a house that no longer wants him. He moves around like a shadow, saying nothing, fighting nothing. It's pathetic to watch, but I can't bring myself to feel bad for him. A few of my friends asked if he might have done this before, if there were other women he got weird with, because to be this obsessed with one person, it made them wonder what else he was hiding. But as far as we can tell, there's been no one else. No other texts, no secret crushes, no trail of flirtation. It's always been Helen. Only Helen. His obsession wasn't spread around. It was locked in, laser-focused, and absolutely unhinged. That kind of singular fixation, it leaves no room for anyone else. After everything came out, Helen blocked his number right away. She wanted space. She needed to protect herself. But that same night, the same damn night he moved back into Ashley's house, he found another way to reach her. He created a brand new email account just to bypass the block. It started off like an apology, like maybe he had finally come to his senses.
But it didn't stay there. Within a few lines, the mask slipped. The message spiraled into something dark, borderline obsessive. Paragraph after paragraph about Helen. How he never got to finish what he needed to say at the restaurant. How there was more, so much more, that she needed to hear. He went on and on about everything he loved about her. Her smile, her laugh, how she made people feel, how she lit up rooms without trying. It was obsessive, intimate, disturbing. He claimed again there was a mutual connection, that he felt this undeniable tension between them, that something real existed between them, and always had. He took Helen's warmth, her friendliness, her personality,
and twisted it into proof of a fantasy that never existed. He'd fully convinced himself it was mutual. It wasn't. But the part that really knocked the wind out of me was the part about me. Liam used the final stretch of his email to rip me apart. Apparently, I'm not good enough, not attractive enough, not man enough. He basically said I didn't satisfy my wife, that I didn't deserve her, that he should have been the one by her side. It was petty, cruel, full of bile, and it wasn't even subtle. He wanted to plant doubt, to chip away at me, make me second-guess everything Helen and I had built. But it didn't work the way he thought. If anything, it lit a fire under me. It made me even more certain that this man is dangerous, not just to Helen, but to all of us. We sent the email to Ashley and her lawyer immediately. It's more than just creepy. It's proof. Concrete evidence of how far gone Liam is, how deep this rabbit hole runs. That email, with its fake apologies, obsessive worship, and straight-up venom, it might be the final nail in the coffin. And maybe, just maybe, the thing that gets him kicked out of that house for good. Right now, Helen and I are just trying to get through each day, one at a time. This whole thing still feels surreal, like we've been living in some kind of warped drama that we didn't sign up for. The only thing keeping us grounded is the support from our family and close friends. Without them, I don't know where we'd be. Helen's still shaken. She's not okay, but she's slowly getting better. Every day, a little stronger. Still, there's guilt lingering. She keeps blaming herself for letting her guard down around Liam. Normally, she's super firm about boundaries with men. She knows how to shut things down. But this time, she didn't see the threat. Why would she? Liam was family. He was supposed to be safe. He was supposed to be trustworthy. And Helen? Yeah, she's gorgeous. She gets attention all the time. But she never thought it would come from him. Thankfully, she and Ashley are still solid. There's no resentment between them, no cold distance, just mutual pain and a shared effort to move forward. That alone is a miracle. We're going to be okay. But it'll take time. A lot of time. Now, I want to thank everyone who's been in our corner, who's listened, supported, advised. You don't know how much that means. My biggest concern through all of this has been Ashley and her kids. What Liam did, it's torn through their lives like a wrecking ball. The emotional fallout is massive, and protecting them, especially the kids, became our top priority. Children shouldn't be caught in crossfire like this. They need stability, security, a sense that their world isn't falling apart. So we didn't wait. We gathered every message, every recording, every twisted email. We faced it all head on, got the lawyer involved, took the steps we needed to take. Because sitting back, hesitating, pretending it might blow over, that would have made everything worse. You fight for the people you love. And that's exactly what we're doing.